let's see the budget process, for instance. Is this why you go to a police station, for instance, you have an issue and you need the police to act, and they tell you they do not have maybe fuel in their vehicles or they are unable to come out? Is it a process of the budgeting process? Is it because it's from top down, that's why they are unable to do that? Or is it possible that for some periods, some police posts don't even have allocations to work with?
I will say without wasting further time that the budget of the police does not trickle down properly from the force headquarters to the police posts, to the divisional commands. It does not. And that is part of why, in answer to your question before, I said that the government needs to look into what's happening. After the National Assembly has appropriated, between the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Police Affairs, the police, the force headquarters, and even the Police Service Commission, we need to investigate what's happening to the budget of the Nigerian Police Force with regards to its implementation, the use of these resources as budgeted. Sometimes they don't have vehicles. The divisional commands that have vehicles have no money to maintain the vehicles. When the vehicles are maintained, they have no money to buy fuel. That's why some of the civilian police community relations committees have become so relevant. They move in so much money. Even Lagos State government has a standing security trust fund to support the Lagos State Command of the Nigeria Police Force.
Should that give rise to state police? I mean, seeing that it's easier for the police to be taken care of by the state and local government and their civilian relations committees, should that give rise to the state police? Do you think it will help?
Yeah. At this point, it's important that state police be seriously looked into.
I just don't want to take this argument out of the welfare of the police. Okay. Most Nigerians, they just want to see a more professional police in Nigeria. And if you say there's a budgeting system in place and it really doesn't trickle down to most of the police posts and stations that we see, it's something that we'll still have to talk more on. And if we have seen an IG saying he hates corruption, it means what has been happening over time is corrupt practice, as well as for some, they said the money is not enough. Let's talk about paucity of funds to run the police force.
Yeah.
How can that be improved?
Of course, generally, during the government of the outgoing government, we saw a lot of improvement, especially after what Channels did, the expose on the police college at Ikeja. We saw a lot of improvement on the budgeting process for the police. But like I said, the trickle-down expectation is not there. So outside increasing the budgetary provision for the police, it's also important to look at the mechanism through which this budget is, spread down the lines, the commanding structures of the Nigeria Police Force.
Training for these officers and men is another key thing.
Yes.
How frequent has that been, and how helpful has that been for the police?
Yeah, it's also part of the problem with the Nigeria Police Force, recruitment actually, starting from recruitment. The standards for recruitment have not been properly tied up. Then after recruitment, what happens? The training colleges were just not attended to at all until recently. So what we are saying is that the Nigerian Police Force should look at the criteria for recruitment, then standardize the process, then provide training for these officers, regular training. And then, of course, when you train an officer, the next thing is the welfare package for this officer that you have trained for effective performance. There must be a welfare package, and that welfare package must be transparent. That's what we're saying, so that everybody knows what is in it.
I'm a little worried, though, because a lot of people will have high expectations even of the new Inspector General of Police, and since he's been saying certain things, they will expect that, well, we don't see the police on the roads anymore, but by the time we go to the police stations, there are certain things that should happen, almost immediately. What are some of the things that you think the police can do almost immediately to at least show the public that it is in a position for better service delivery?
Yes. one of the most important things they should do immediately, one, the divisional commands should make available, without difficulty, access to the commanding officers at those divisional commands, so that people who have complaints can call the DPO. If you call the DPO, you don't get him or her, you call the DCO. If you call that, you don't get, you know, there should be a minimum of 3 functional telephone numbers that people can call. Now, on getting to the police station, provision for stationery is important, so that suspects or their relations are not asked to bring money, to buy biro, to buy paper, you know, for them to write their statements. Another thing is vehicular support, both for patrol and for response. Sometimes you make a distress call to a divisional commander. Somebody will tell you, I'm not saying it's divisional commander now, please, we don't have a vehicle. Can you send a vehicle? Or somebody will say, we don't have fuel. Can you say, you know, these are things that the police can do immediately to, you know, engender this confidence in the people. Response is important. Then attitude when you get to the station. These fundamental things must be addressed immediately.
Well, how effective do you think these motorized patrols will be? Because one of the things that the IG has done to counter roadblocks is to ensure that the police has vehicles on the road. Do you think that with some of the challenges that we've listed in terms of maintenance of vehicle, lack of fueling as well, do you think that we'll be able to sustain some of these things?
Yes, of course. We believe strongly that these are sustainable. Security, in fact, for us, security is everything. And you see, communities respond to the police when they ask them for support, especially when the police within those communities, you know, help in, like I said before, in protecting their lives and property. So outside what the government should do, I know the communities are also ready to support the police by providing, you know, like I said, you know, in the case of Lagos State, you know,
very
some
quickly,
kind of...
sorry to cut you there, very quickly before we go, why is it so that sometimes you expect some real action from the police, you don't get to see it except you have some special squad, hashtag Edo State, where the police IGP has set up a special squad to fight courtism in that state, and within 48 hours you could see the kind of results. Why is it? Must you have a special task force before you see some real action from the police?
It's part of why we suggested before now, you know, some kind of restructuring, so that you can devolve power beyond the force headquarters. You can give some power to the zonal commander. You can give some power to the state commander, so that they can take certain decisions without necessarily, you know, referring to the IGP. That's part of what we are saying. If you do that, these commanders can take prompt action without being queried for, you know, taking an action without calling the Inspector General of Police. That's why we're saying there's need for devolution of powers, you know, from the force headquarters to the zonal commanders, to the state commanders, and then to the divisions. It's important that we achieve it at this time.
Emeka Nwanibu, thank you for coming on Sunrise Daily.
Thank you.
It's a wrap on the program today and for the week. We'd like to thank you so much for being such nice company. I'm Sulaiman Alede.
Well, thank you. I'm Malfwe Ogun.
I'm Neo Taigbe. Thank you.
Have
See
a
you again.
pleasant weekend.